off in the platform the school uses, but not using Zoom. Excellent. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for the active discussions that you had in the conversations just now. I think it's really important that everyone is able to contribute and is able to talk about the relative issues that we have here today. So the first thing I'd like to do is really just do a bit of a round table from each of the different groups. So I'll start off with my group first, where Veronica was leading, which was on digital wellbeing. And some of the key areas that really we were looking at was, of course, all of you are the same. We're looking at the skills, the lessons learned from during COVID, what can national coalitions and governments do, and finally useful initiatives. So if I can be as quick as possible, I'll try and give a quick summary of what was discussed. So mainly within skills, actually, a lot of the questions was about whether or not skills or hard digital skills are the right skills that are needed to support digital well-being. And in fact, some of the questions came up around being able to disconnect and supporting students in their capacity to disconnect, and also looking at privacy and security management in that area. Where can the National Coalition help? Moving on to lessons learned. There were three kind of key areas that were discussed. One was the apathy of pupils, so the disconnect that they've learned from the communities or their learning processes. The need for teachers and pupils to be seen and have that connection going on. And also the fact that digital learning provided an opportunity to connect learning with real world cases, and not just for the students, but also the teachers and parents around them as well. The national coalitions and the government can help by supporting best practices from abroad, being able to provide cooperation and discussion with parents in the different areas, foster the communication between universities and teachers, and also understand what pupils and students are themselves seeing as the main obstacles to their own well-being. In specific activities, perhaps more for the government side, is supporting the supervision at school and enabling the teachers to build that trust between each other and share best practice peer-to-peer. And finally, looking at the government, its own revision of the curriculum, and less content, more skills, essentially was the comment there, came from that. And finally, looking at useful initiatives, we had a variety of looking at different activities. So one that was Prague.ai, which is also related to Burno.ai, which is supporting the community around it, specific help channels for students, and we will share all these in the chat as we're going along, and also initiatives which bring together the university students and learners in this environment there. So that's kind of summary on us. Veronica, have I missed anything out?
I think you covered everything. Thank you very much for the summary.
Perfect. So Joseph, if I could ask you to give a brief overview of what was discussed in your group.
Definitely, thank you for the word. And we were also talking in a similar way, but not about the digital or well-being as such, but about the efficiency. We are one of the rooms for efficiency. And basically what we kind of discuss, what we understand by the efficient distance learning was that we think that the focus should not be, or the experience showed us that the focus should not be only on memorizing, but it should be also more project-based learning pursued, and also there should be an enabling to sharing the ideas and the teacher-student kind of connection in terms of not exchanging the ideas and cooperating. Also, we should stress the importance of allowing students to express themselves and to keep students or pupils open to receive the new information and to kind of learn or educate themselves. The lessons learned and the opportunities in efficiency in distance learning should be that we should not forget on basic digital skills. We also tend to talk about the AI and blockchain and all these very hot topics for today, but we should not forget about the basic digital skills, not only on the side of the students, but also on the teacher side. We should also stress the small group teaching, and we should take advantage of the innovative approaches and the external influence in terms of experts being able now and more than easily to talk on certain topics. What can the National Coalition or government do to improve efficiency? We talk about sharing the best practices and knowledge materials. We talk about sharing the events from not only from online courses, but also from the online resources. Also, we kind of very lightly discussed the need for integrating maybe some existing platforms into an ecosystem, and we think that the support should be aimed on teachers, not only on the younger generation, but also the older generation. And in terms of useful initiatives, we just mentioned a few, such as some existing platforms, such as the OpenPDF, Khan Academy, Elements of AI, and platforms like that. We also mentioned the Czechitas in Czech Republic that kind of pursue or stress the need of women in tech. And we also mentioned the European Code Week. And since we were running out of time, I think we would discuss even more initiatives, but we kind of end up with that. So thank you. And I hope I did not forget anything. And I will pass the word back to you, Brandon.
Great, thank you. And as Susanna said, in the chat is the links to all the Miro boards. We can go and look at all the initiatives. So Susanna, you were also working on efficiency. Do you have anything to add in there that wasn't covered?
Yes, thanks, Brandon. Indeed, a lot of overlapping with what Joseph was just saying. And also for useful initiatives, I'm glad to say that our group managed to get 9 inputs with concrete links. So please check the Miro board. On the role of the National Coalition, the usual, I would say, question or answer came back that it should play a bridging role between the different stakeholders. So I think this is something that we heard quite a few times in all 3 aspects. And when it comes to the understanding of efficient distance learning, it was interesting because we saw inputs both on the hardware side, but also methodological side. So open source, using open source solutions, having good internet infrastructure was mentioned, but also adopting the methodologies, pedagogies to the current needs. And when it comes to opportunities and lessons learned, again, something that was a recurring topic, that well-being and efficiency goes hand in hand. So quite some of the inputs on the board have to do with well-being, not only efficiency, but the engagement of students was something that we talked about longer, and the different ways how to tackle it. So I invite you all to look at the results other than this.
Thanks a lot, Susanna. And finally, Lucy, so you were actually specifically on safety, so probably sitting in between efficiency and well-being.
Well, yeah, thanks a lot. I will just summarize it shortly. Regarding digital skills to guarantee safety in distance learning, we talked about general safety online because it's like the base for being able to operate in distance learning. Also regarding safe logging in, logging out, but and work with online materials, respecting copyrights, licenses, Creative Commons, etc. And also personal data protection. We had a really nice discussion regarding the second square, which is regarding public or private sector being involved in safety and how. And it seems that there are some different approaches. For example, in Lithuania and to my knowledge also in Slovenia, there is a government cloud or network that schools are connected in. Therefore, they don't have to preoccupy about safety because the central system does it for them. On the contrary, in Poland and in the Czech Republic, it all depends on local authorities and on schools. So these are different approaches to that. and it's really hard to strike the balance. And regarding initiatives, of course, there is Avast that was mentioned last time, but also there is a link to a project in Poland and the National Cyber and Information Security Agency in the Czech Republic. And also in the chat, Jacek mentioned some other, but I cannot paste it to that, so we will resolve that later. Okay, and regarding the national coalitions, I think it's quite the same everywhere, sharing good knowledge, sharing materials, etc. So thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Lucy. And thank you everyone for giving such succinct feedback. I know we're slightly over time, but just to summarize that we see a huge overlap between the three areas that we're talking about here today. There's a clear need to cover all those bases, and also the initiatives that we've seen are very, very interesting, both across other organizations, and the National Coalition needs to be there as the point of collaboration between all the different actors that we need to bring around the table is what we understood from today. So thank you all very much for the contributions. It was very quick, but it's great to have them directly put in. So over to you, Joseph, to close off.
Thank you, Brendan. So just a very short closing remarks from me. From my side, although some of them are not already here, let me just thank you one more time to Mr. Niedermayer for opening our second event, to our great panelists, Mrs. Kosatikova, who is still here with us, Mr. Stransky and Mr. Maitan. To my European colleagues, thank you very much, Susanna. Thank you, Brendan. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Lady. Thank you, Maria. And also thank you, Mrs. Kinslova, for taking care and taking part of moderating one of our breakout rooms. And I would like to also thank to my Czech colleague Mirek, and mainly to Lucy for helping me to organize this event. Finally, thank you all for joining us for these two events. Thank you for your inputs and the discussion. We would be more than happy to stay in touch with you in case you have any interest in further cooperation. Our email is digicoalice@npi.cz. We will share it with you. We will share it with you in chat or in the further emails. And also we will be happy to share with you the video, I guess, from today's event, if I'm not mistaken, and the very final report. So once again, thank you all for joining us. Stay safe. Have a great day. Sorry for a little bit of delay, and bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.